Okay, confession time. I was a little bit intimidated by the DJI Avata 2, but after fumbling around and, well, crashing it a couple of times, more than that, I have stumbled across one or two things that have absolutely helped me take this from being properly scared of flying it into having a load of fun and using it for a business opportunity as well. So if you're a beginner like me, then you absolutely need to know a few things, and that will help you get the most out of flying one of these with zero experience. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so I get it. These things, they are intimidating. All of the videos on the YouTubes, everybody who's flying these things, they make it look so easy and so much fun. And it is a lot of fun, but easy, straight out of the box, well, maybe. And when you do get it out of the box, the anxiety kicks in. Where do I start? What's the best thing to get me going? I've just bought this, I don't want to crash it and damage it and have to send it back. Then when we do get it in the air, we start to think, well, how can I now progress? Because all the videos I've been watching, everybody's talking about how you must fly full manual so you can get the most out of it. And how do I do that? And you just get the hang of using one of these things, and then you drop into a video and someone says, well, now you need one of these because, well, if you want the full experience, you should be using one of these. Not this is for beginners, you should be flying one of these. And then there's another question. Can I use this to generate a little bit of income as a side hustle? So first of all, something to remember, this has some built-in systems, gizmos, technology, whatever you want to call it, that means that you will be able to fly it straight out of the box, charge it up, update the firmware, grab your motion controller, launch the thing into the air, and it just happens. It's so much fun. And then as you get more and more confident with what you're doing, as I've found, you can start to reduce the amount of assistance that this is giving you, and you can start to take a bit more control over where you're going and what you're aiming for and that kind of stuff. And switching over to the FPV controller, straight out of the box, this thing is set up so that if you just let go of the sticks, they center and the aircraft will hover. But you can start to adjust it, and everybody talks about this one here, how you should set it so that it's all the way down and you have full control here. Well, here's some good news. You can do that and still operate the drone in normal mode or sport mode if you're feeling brave, but operate in normal mode and start to feel how we should be moving these sticks, which is a good thing. We can progress as we get more confident. And to the third thing, can this make you some money? Absolutely, yes it can. Get a bit of practice under your belt and then start turning your hobby into a business opportunity, which is exactly what I've been doing for the past couple of months. So wanting to be able to just get out there and fly full FPV using the systems that are built into all of this means that I'm now able to do real estate property tours, both commercial and private. We can fly inside, we can fly outside. It's like, it doesn't get better than that. You can have a load of fun with this thing and earn money. And I mean, who doesn't want to get paid having fun? Okay, so why is this so good then? Well, the first thing I've discovered is it is pretty robust. I mean, it's not bulletproof. You absolutely can damage it if you crash it super hard. However, regular flying, learning, not stepping too far over the mark, it will take some hits, and this has taken some hits, both indoors and outdoors. It's the rugged build, all in one piece design is great. The props are protected, which means when we're flying inside, if we bounce off a wall, which you will, we're not going to smash the props up. The camera is set back from the front, so when we fly straight into something, and you will, it's not going to smash the camera. This is really well thought out, and it isn't too big either. You can absolutely fly down super narrow corridors and not worry about it too much. So what you can see there is the enhanced low altitude and indoor flight with binocular fisheye sensors. This is a GPS drone. So when it's flying outside, the GPS signals are going to tell it where it is, and it will quite happily sit and hover there. However, when we're inside, we lose that GPS signal, so it doesn't know where it is. That's where it uses these little gizmos for, so we can still just fly inside and it will quite happily sit, hover and wait for instructions. In the normal and also sport mode, stick with normal to start with, you can fly this thing 30 centimeters off the deck and it looks wicked, like proper Top Gun stuff. You're not gonna slam this in, well, I mean, you will slam it into the deck if you're being a bit of a fool, but these gizmos on the back mean that you can be flying along and you can, where are we? Where's the controller? We've accidentally got this stick set a bit too far low, so it's pulling the thing down, but it's not gonna land, it's not gonna crash unless you actually pull on the stick. So using these sensors on the back when we're outside, we can be ripping along, just having a load of fun with it, and also using these sensors on the back, which are pointing down, assuming there's plenty of light in the room, we can fly indoors without any problem at all. So doing those property real estate tours, slow controlled movement, sit there and hover, spins, whatever you need to do, it can absolutely do that. That was one of the reasons that made me choose this, because I can go from having fun to working at the flip of a switch, nice and easy. Now, I am not by any means anywhere close to being a full-blown FPV drone pilot. I am absolutely still within the safety bubble of that normal and or sport mode. I have progressed on to using the FPV controller because I do want to get into it down the road. But straight off the bat, there is a thing that they call easy acro. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't know what acro meant. I thought it was some acronym for something, but it turns out acro actually stands for acrobatic. I mean, who knew? Why not just say acrobatic? Why does everything have to have some sort of secret club code word? Anyway, using the motion controller, we can set it so that we can get some decent acrobatic movements or shots. We can do rolls, we can do flips, and we can do 180 drifts. And that is loads of fun. And then when we're feeling a bit braver and we switch over to the FPV controller, which is what I've been on now, is starting to learn those 180 drifts, but controlling it through this. But if you don't have one of those, this thing just makes flying and doing tricks so much fun. All right, coming back into some of those safety features then. We've talked about that low level flying with those fisheye sensors so the drone knows where it is in time and space. There are many other things here. We've got a return to home option, which we can set and do all that kind of stuff. If it loses a signal, we can tell it to just hover and wait so we can then go and find it. There's find my drone with beeping and bits and pieces, but there is also something called turtle mode, which I've had to use a couple of times, not because I've crashed it, no. But basically what that means is when you crash, I'm not gonna say if, when, because you will, and this thing lands upside down. Up on the goggles, we get a little thing that says turtle mode. It will then flip it up, right side up. We can then take off and we can carry on flying. Like landed upside down, hit the old turtle mode, it's spun some props one way and some the other, flipped it, and then I've taken off, flown it back, given it a good check over, make sure everything's all right, and away we go. So the DJI have thought about these things, return to home, loss of signal, the fish eyes so it knows where it is, that turtle mode, when you crash upside down and you can flip it. These are all really, really good, well thought out features. So just thinking about this for a second, if you've got any questions about how you can get into flying drones and then turning your hobby into an opportunity to earn some money, pop those questions down below. Because like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of months now. And genuinely, when opportunities present themselves to you, do this. Say yes and then figure out how to do it. Because if you say no, you probably won't get asked again and that opportunity is going to pass you by. If you say yes and you're unable to figure it out, then you just go back and say, actually, really sorry, not going to be for me, I'm going to pass on this one. But you've given it a go. That's what's happened with this. But that's for another video where I'm going to take you on a shoot that I've got coming up very soon, or a couple of shoots, in fact, that I've got coming up fairly soon, so you can see all that. But if you've got any questions, pop those down below. Have you got any tips and tricks? If you've been flying these things for a long time, get those tips and tricks down below. Let's help each other out. We don't all have to fly super manual stuff. We can use these safety systems. And honestly, normal mode, flying around your garden, great fun. Flip it into sport mode, gets even better. That's where I'm at. And like I said earlier, I've been trying to learn how to use the FPV controller. I've set my stick, the left stick, down so I can simulate being in full control. But because I'm only in normal mode or flipping over into sport mode, I've still got those safety systems helping me out. I mean, don't get me wrong, still crash quite a lot because you overstep confidence, right? But from there, using the systems to help me have fun. Think of it this way. Manual control with drone assistance equals more fun and more opportunities in both normal and sport mode. I mean, why wouldn't you? All right, last thing then, the batteries, which to be fair feels like loading a magazine into a weapon. That's very manly, I like that. Anyway, the batteries. Claimed flight time of approximately 18 minutes. Now, depending on how hard you push it, and I try and push this thing quite hard, and with wind conditions down here on the southeast coast of Englandshire, can get quite windy down on the beach. This thing's working super hard, so probably not going to get that. I'd say more like 13, maybe 15 minutes, again, depending on how hard you push it. So that's certainly what I've been getting. However, if you do invest in one of these, absolutely go for the combo pack that gives you more than one battery, because there's nothing worse than being out flying. You run out of battery and then you're like, well, I've run out of battery, I can't fly anymore, and I've only been going 15 minutes and perhaps I want to do another 15 minutes. Well, spend the extra money, get yourself some extra batteries. You can just pop the old one out, pop the new one in, and away you go. And if you've run your batteries down to, let's say, 30% on each one, I mean, that's quite a bit of flight time, but you've run each one down to 30%, you can pop all three in here, and we have what's called the power accumulation function, which is a very posh way of saying that it will combine all three into one as much as it can to give you a little bit of extra flight time or a bit of extra battery if you need it. Okay, very quickly, I just want to talk about this, the DJI Action 5 Pro. Now, I'm sure you know, but if you don't, this thing comes with internal storage, 46 gigabytes of internal storage. You do not need to put an SD card in this in order to go out and start capturing memories and creating stuff to bore the grandchildren with later on in life. Internal storage, which is brilliant. This also has built-in storage, 46 gigabytes, and at the settings that I run, I can get, it says, around about 50 minutes of footage. Internal storage, 46 gigabytes of it. You do not need an SD card. Now, I'm not being funny. If I can get 50 minutes out of this, that's more than the amount of battery I'm carrying. The only way you're going to max out on that is if you forget to download the footage and format the memory, which I have done. So I ran out. But that's all right, that's a lesson learned. I've learned that lesson. You don't need to, just do that. Okay, some additional bits and pieces to think about. I've mentioned this one before, but these prop guards mean that this thing is perfectly fine for flying indoors. And if you do have a little bounce off of something, it's not gonna be too much trouble. So again, that's well thought out. Also, if you do want to get into flying fully manual, which I've said is something that I'm trying to do, don't try and do it with this straight away. Have a go on a simulator first of all. Get your FPV controller, set that left-hand stick so it's in the right position, plug it into your Mac, download and start playing a game called Liftoff, which will frustrate you to pieces, and then things will start to click and it will start to feel a little bit better. I've spent quite a bit of money on this thing to get up and going, and now it's starting to earn me money. I can't afford to have it off the road. I can't afford to damage it to the point where it won't work because of upcoming client gigs. So the best place for me to practice my manual flying at the moment is within a simulator. So that's what I would suggest you do as well, if that's something you want to go into. But honestly, straight out of the box, in both normal and sport mode, you can have so much fun with this thing. Those sensors that mean you can rip along the deck, along the beach at 30 centimeters, hunting some seagulls down, right the way through to going for gaps and bits and pieces like that. It's really, really good fun. And yes, you can use your hobby as a means to generate income, whether that's a side hustle or something you want to get into full time. This is cracking piece of kit for it. Okay, that's enough chat from me. Watch this video next where I'll show you why using the auto settings on your action camera is the way forwards. All right, if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, press that subscribe button, and if you want to know more, drop that stuff in the comments below. As ever, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.